Hello everybody, this is the next video in the Java Full Stack Developer video series. In this video, we will learn about constraints in MySQL. In MySQL, a constraint is a rule applied to columns in a table to enforce data integrity and consistency. Constraints ensure that the data stored in a database follow the certain rules. Constraints are used to prevent invalid data entry and to maintain the accuracy and reliability of the data within the database. Before we go into the details of each type of constraint, let's review the syntax of the table creation statement that uses constraints. As you see, we have a new parts. Those are the constraints here and here. Alright, now let's go through the types of constraints in MySQL. First, primary key. A primary key constraint is a rule applied to a column or a set of columns in a database table to ensure that the values in these columns are unique and not null. The primary key uniquely identifies its record in the table. Let's take a look on this table, customer. And you can see here, we put the constraint primary key. So before, the value of the column is unique. So if we put something not unique in this, it will show you an error. Let's try it. Insert into customers. Customer ID. New. 1. Let's run this. Okay, sorry. Okay, in the first one, you can see we put it a record with the ID is 1. If we did this statement again with the same value for the customer ID, you can see an error show here. Duplicate and try 1 for the key customer primary. Okay, so we just violate a rule for this case. Okay, let's remove it. Second, we will go another constraint, that is foraging key constraint. Foraging key constraint is a rule applied to a column or set of columns in a database table to ensure that the values in these columns match values in the primary key or unique key of another table. This constraint enforces referential integrity between the two tables, ensuring that relationships between tables are maintained correctly. Consider these two tables, orders and customers, where each order is associated with the customer. Customer ID is the primary key in the customer table, and customer ID in the order table is the foreign key that references customer ID in the customer table. This one. Now we try to insert the data into this table. Don't worry about the statements you don't know. We will learn later. I just want to show you that how it works when we insert the valid data and invalid data. Okay, let's run all of this. Everything runs successfully. So when I put another thing, when I put an order with the value 3 As you can see in this statement, I put 3 for the customer ID, but in the customer table I just insert 2 records with the max ID is 2. So when I put here 3 here, the statement run will shows an error because it duplicate entries for the order primary key. Okay, let's next. A unique key. A unique key is the constraint applied to a column or a set of columns in a database table to ensure that all values in the specified columns are unique across the entire table. Unlike the primary key, a table can have multiple unique keys, and unique key columns can accept null values, but only one null value per unique column. We can try this example. You can see the constraint unique is applied for the email column. Let's try insert something here. Insert employee ID, first name, last name, email with the values. Okay, let's run this. Sorry, employee, and everything is successfully. But now when I run this again with the same value for the email, okay, you can get an error. Duplicate entry 1 for the employee primary. Okay, let's go next. Default constraint. A default constraint in MySQL is a rule that assigns a default value to a column when no specific value is provided during an insert operation. This constraint ensures that a column always has a valid value, even if no value explicitly specified. Let's check this example. We have a table named customer with the column country has the default value USA. This means when you insert a value into this table but you don't put the value for country, it will be always USA. Let's try this. Okay, copy this. Okay, just create a new one. Insert into customers with the column customers ID, first name, last name, country, and put the value into it. Maybe 1, first name A, and last name B, and the countries I will now input the country, and after that I will select this table customers. I select to show the table so you can see the data that we inputted in this table. Okay, let's run this. I remove this column. Sorry, it's because it's related with the previous example, so I need to create more statement to resolve the problem. Okay, as you can see, after I insert a record to the column without the value for the country, but as you can see in the table, we can see the USA value in the column country because we use the default value for this column. Okay, let's next. Not null constraints. The not null constraints in MySQL is used to ensure that a column cannot have a null value. Okay, let's recommend this again. Not null value. Okay, you can see the first name and the last name in this with the constraint not null. And I will use an insert to check this. Insert into the employee ID, and I won't put value for the first name and last name. I will put in age and okay, just A with the values 1 and 22 or 23. Okay, let's run this statements. Employee already exists. Okay, I need to drop this first. Drop table employee if exists. Okay, and let's run this again. Okay, now we see another error. It says the field first name doesn't have a default value. So why? What is happens? Because the first name column has a constraint name not null. So we need to put value into it via the insert statement here. So if I put first name and the last name in here, and also put the values into here with the first name and the last name, and run insert again. Oh yeah, you can see run successfully with the first name and last name. And the last, the check constraint in MySQL. The check constraint in MySQL is used to enforce a condition that must be met by the values in the column. Let's check this table again. We can see the age. The age must be larger or equal than 18, and it also must be less than 65. So when you put a value that meets that condition, maybe 10 for example, and run this statement again, you can see the error appear here. The check constraint employees is violate. Okay, the check constraint. Okay, I think that's all for this video. I hope you can understand all the things that I shared in these lessons, and also hope you like this video. And thank you for watching. See you in the next one.